You are now listening to TuneIn Slice of Health by Chola MS General Insurance.
On the first episode of Slice of Health Edition, we bring to you Aditi Surana, a high performance coach and anti anxiety expert who talks about how you can build a growth mindset. The episode starts now.
Hi there, welcome to Tune In with Chola MS. My name is Aditi Surana. I am a behavioral analyst, a high performance coach, and an anti anxiety expert. Today's topic is how do we build a growth mindset? If you don't know what growth mindset is, you don't know how to build a mindset, how to invest in it, or if you have been experiencing stress, anxiety, or other sort of insecurity, especially post-lockdown, then this conversation is worth your time. We're going to talk about a method called Graphojournaling. If you have been anxious, you know what anxiety looks like. I need not tell you. You know how it can become overwhelming, how it takes over, and no one can actually help you in that moment because your thoughts, your emotions are going all over the place. What people don't realize is anxiety is not a mental thing. It's also a physical thing. Not only anxiety for that matter, any insecurity, any fear is mental as well as physical. And that entire idea, can become liberating if we can use our physical activities, if we can use our breathing, which is again physical, to influence the way the mind functions. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to today discuss how we can use our physical movements to impact our minds in a specific manner. But before I get there, let's spend a moment to understand why anxiety has the capacity to create all the palpitations, sweaty palms, that uneasy feeling, that sense of feeling inadequate. Because you get triggered in a particular manner. When you get triggered, by someone's comment, by a situation, by someone saying something that you don't want them to say or invalidating you or your failure, whatever that could be, a situation, a person, a remark can actually get you triggered. And then you follow a pattern which is not necessarily healthy, a pattern that has not helped you, the pattern that is not actually helping you even now, but we keep repeating the pattern. We keep following the loops because that's the only thing we know. We discount our capacities as human beings only because we believe that this is a problem and I should get rid of it. If your mind, if your body is not helping you, and if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling triggered, then this is a signal, this is a mirror that you got to do course correction. Rarely people see that. And I think that's the reason why more than 94% people are reported, as per the KPMG's recent research published in Forbes.com, 94% people are dealing with stress, employees specifically. Can you imagine this? Which means most people are struggling. They are not happy. They're not at peace. They're not feeling that life is a joyful space to be. If you're one of them, if you also feel this way, then let's talk about what can you do in 3 simple steps to resolve this huge problem of anxiety. And how do we do it? By building a growth mindset. Let me explain what I mean by that. In her book, Mindset, Carol Dweck, author and researcher, speaks about 2 types of mindset. One is a fixed mindset, where if you fail or if you cannot achieve what you want to achieve, you take it personally. You become very rigid about it. It becomes be all and end all of your life or career or whatever relationship. Whereas other thing is a growth mindset, where you look at every situation, even if you're failing, falling, not growing at the pace you should be growing, you look at that and you try and improve yourself, grow from the situation. So you look at the situation at hand and literally treat it like an experiment to learn from, a situation to move out of, ways in which you can really resolve the problem. That is important. That's something we all require to imbibe and learn and grow from, because if we don't do it, like we have seen during the pandemic, what happened to most of us when we were confronted with this uncertain situation, which was unending to a certain degree, we didn't know how to deal with it. We were not equipped to deal with it. They say, if the only tool you have is a hammer, then every problem is a nail. And I like that idea. I like that thought, because so many times we treat our problems like that. We are never taught, never trained in dealing with our problems with emotional maturity by looking at all the possible situational aspects, figuring out what can we do to go about it. We are not taught basically the growth mindset. We just follow the books and the people and the fictions and the celebrities around us, and we keep copying their mechanisms, which are not necessarily healthy. Most of them are faulty, to be very honest. So when we look at today's conversation, we're going to rely on a 3-step graphojournaling method. Now, part of my behavioral analysis training is in a subject called graphology. Have you heard of it? It is also known as handwriting analysis. And before you raise your eyebrows and wonder whether the subject works or not, let me tell you, it has been around for the longest time. I have worked over 18 years now with more than 10,000 people just during the lockdown, and I think more than 20,000 people. I'm saying I think because we keep doing so many public events and we keep reaching out to people, and so many people are part of our whole journey, so the exact number is missing. But the point is not that. The point is, when we work with people, when we do these social outreach programs and reach out to anybody and everybody in need and feeling anxious and dealing with their problems, when we use this method that I'm going to talk about called graphojournaling, the results are phenomenal. I have had people telling me that they were considering killing themselves. People who were COVID positive and didn't know how to deal with the trauma the experience was putting them through. I had one of my favorite stories by this photographer named Hitesh, who called me and said, both my parents are hospitalized and I have no clue whom to look after and how to look after them. In dire situations like this, people have used the technique that I'm going to teach you today. So if you have anything which is lesser than this, I can guarantee you that this process will work. All you got to do is follow the exact steps that I'm going to explain, and please give it 7 days to see if it works for you. If it does, amazing. Just pick it up and keep practicing for 21 days, because more you practice, more you use this technique, your mind and your body will be attuned, and then stress and anxiety won't be the biggest problems for you to deal with. Let's talk about that, the 3-step graphojournaling method. The 3-step journaling method is a simple and super effective method that we're going to walk into. Step number 1, I'm going to ask you a solution-oriented question. We're going to rely on this supremely effective search engine called your own mind. Now, why am I doing it? Why we are relying on your own mind to have answers? You may wonder, you're like, Aditi, if I would have had the answer, don't you think I would have been in a better place? Wait for the beauty of this process, this method to work, and you'll be surprised with the kind of answers you have when you try this method. Step number 2. Before responding to the question, you know how we were taught, journaling, we know how to do journaling. We just write everything that comes to our minds. We keep the journal hidden from everybody else possible. And that is our best friend, where all our secrets are kept. And we write about things that make us feel horrible, like a cathartic process. This journaling is slightly different, actually. When you ask a solution-oriented question, your brain starts moving, mind starts moving in a direction where it starts looking for solutions. And instead of being focused on the problem, you change your perspective. You change the way you look at the problem. The step 2 is a stroke called S stroke, or flow of thought strokes, where we write a string of letter S connected to one another in a specific manner, or number 8 you may say, or infinity sign if you like, whatever you call it. We call it the flow of thoughts. You can learn the stroke exactly how to practice it on our YouTube channel, Aditi Surana, Aditi Surana, Aditi Surana. So you can actually look it up. We have one version in English and another one in Hindi, whatever is your comfortable language. You can teach this stroke to anybody, from somebody who is 3-4 year old to anybody who is 85-year-old. Anyone going through anxiety can practice this stroke and get super benefited. Step number 3, handwritten journaling. Yes, my friend, in this very, very fast age of digitalization and everything going like super digital in every walk of life, I want you to pause and write with your hands. Why? Because when you write, large part of your prefrontal cortex is engaged and your brain functions differently. Writing, the ancient skill, something that you and I learned while we were in school, and at least for 12 to 15 years we kept practicing it. especially the years which were our primitive years. Now, when you look at this, when you understand the impact writing has on you and your thinking process, you'll be surprised. It's a physical activity where you have to slow down at some level and give your emotions a space to express itself. So that's why handwritten journaling is crucial. So let's look at again what are the 3 steps. Solution-oriented question that I ask as a journaling question, journaling prompt if you may call it. Then we move to step 2 where you do the S stroke, the flow of stroke. Step 2 where you do the S stroke or flow of thought stroke practice. And step 3 here is you set a timer for 15 minutes and write everything that comes to your mind. So these are just 3 simple steps. Now, why solution-oriented question? That's an essential aspect. If you say, why me? Or why this problem is not going away? Is a question in a way, but not a solution-oriented question. It is only a statement with a question mark attached. Or if you say, why couldn't you resolve the problem? Were you not equally responsible? Again, a question, but not a solution-oriented question. What I mean by solution-oriented question is you look at the situation and ask things like, what do I require to do here? Not what I desire to do, not what I have to do, but what I require to do here. Sometimes when we get hurt, or imagine you're bleeding because you got scratched, you may desire that a doctor comes and fixes your problem right away. You may wish that this pain would disappear, but all of that doesn't happen. Whatever you wish, whatever you desire might not happen in the moment. But if you ask yourself, what do I require to do here? And all of us do that in the moment of panic. And the answer could be quickly go and grab some ice or get a towel and make sure that you stop the bleeding, or call the doc, and by then just do some whatever required in the moment to stop yourself from fainting with this excessive bleeding. Now the question here is, what do I require to do? In any panic situation, in any difficult situation, you have walked into the problem and said, okay, what do I do here? What do I need to do here? Now, I'm just making this into a journaling process. So when you ask yourself, what do I require to do here? It changes the way you look at the problem. I hope that is simple. Second question that you can ask yourself, and ask one question every day, okay? Don't jump into asking all the questions in one day. But I'm just giving you examples. Second question you can ask yourself, if I accept this problem that is in front of me for what it is, what would change for me? Let me repeat the question. If I accept this problem that is in front of me, what would change for me? Now, so many times a problem is my husband, my wife, my boss is not getting me. And in that case, if I accept this person, whatever they are, what would change? Now, when you ask a question like this, absolutely solution-oriented question, because that changes the way you look at the problem. It changes the way you understand the problem, and it gives you, a complete freedom. I can't say complete, but large degree of freedom to do things that are still in your capacity. Third question that you can use, it is familiar. You know how gratitude journaling works. I call it genuine gratitude question. It goes like, what am I genuinely grateful for? And why am I adding the word genuine here? Because sometimes people fake it, believing that if they fake it, they will make it. And it doesn't work. Sometimes people believe that they should be grateful. The fact that I have a mother, no matter who she is, I should be grateful. Please don't do it. Some people have also told me that, I have food on my table, I should be grateful. Look at the kids in Africa. Please don't do this, because this forceful method of gratitude does not work. It does not help anybody. So what you got to do is really take a moment and ask yourself, what am I genuinely grateful for today? And you might find small things to be grateful for. The fact that I get this opportunity to talk to all of you on so many different platforms, thanks to Chola MS, we actually can reach out to people with a method which is as powerful as Graphojournaling. We have technology that can really help us move faster and better. All these small little things can be your ways of being grateful for the moment, genuinely. Second thing you can be grateful for is a true human connection. And that might not be a significant relationship, your husband, your child, probably not. It could be something where a stranger was kinder than he should have been. It could be a helper went out of his way to help you solve a problem, get the product that you're looking for. It could be a little thing, but when you start looking for these beautiful, genuine connections, we feel warm, we feel taken care of, we feel connected with other people. The last thing you can think about is a small little thing on your desk, or your, favorite toy, or a pen that you use, a coffee mug, a little thing, physical thing that you are grateful for, a small gift maybe. When you make this process very, very genuine, your brain, your body starts responding to it. And that's exactly what we want to achieve. So step 1 was a solution-oriented question. If you want to learn more questions like that, you can go on my website, and we have a 21-day anti-anxiety journaling workshop. The link is aditisurana.com/lockdown21. We did this initiative during the lockdown, twice actually, in 2020 and 2021, and saw some enormous results. So if you think you would like to know more about these questions, then you can check that out. We also have a podcast called Absolutely Right with Aditi Surana. So Right is WRIT, Absolutely Right. It is the first graphology-based podcast show in India where we decode the secrets of leaders, high performers, how you can claim the best version of yourself. So if you are interested in any of it, you can definitely check it out. Now, the second step is learning the S stroke, the flow of thought stroke, and practicing it every single day after you ask a question. And the third one is where you can literally use handwritten journaling, set a timer for 15 minutes and write everything that comes to your mind. Sometimes you may feel that, what is coming to my mind is not relevant to the question. But don't worry, my friend, just write it down. When you do that, when you absolutely allow your body, which is writing skill, that movement to carry your emotions on the paper, the body starts believing in you. The mind starts trusting you. And that's what we want to achieve. We don't know how to get rid of our emotions. We don't know how to deal with them. We don't know how to process them. And in the process, all we do is we just cover them up. So everything that you have pushed under the carpet is not going anywhere unless and until you don't look at it and resolve the problem. And that's what we are trying to do. Now, the stroke that we are practicing may look like the simplest thing, Zen stroke kind of a thing. And you're like, does it really work? It does work because there are 5 steps to follow. You always start the stroke on the top of the S formation. When you go with the formation, you make sure that your hand stays in a flow. If your hand stops, you stop and you start all over again, the new stroke basically. The third point is all the loops in this formation are open and not squeezed. The fourth point is you always end the stroke on the line, never in the air, so always on the line. And the fifth point is you breathe slightly deeper than normal. Now that breathing is crucial, okay? You cannot be breathing shallow. So while doing the stroke, your mind will go everywhere. Your thoughts will be all over the place, and let them be. Let your mind do the work it does. All you got to focus on is writing the stroke and your breathing, which is slightly deeper than your normal breathing style. Okay, that's all is required in the moment. Now, when you keep practicing the stroke, things start changing. Things starts altering. Your body starts finding an outlet. You become more creative. You become more calm, definitely. And you also have a pause between that trigger and reaction. So basically, you find a moment to respond to the situation. And you know how reactions work. We wake up and we keep handing over the remotes to our emotions and our minds to everybody we know. Our family members, our relatives, our bosses, at times even strangers on the road who are not driving properly or walking properly, not being in queue properly. Anybody can trigger us. Now imagine a situation like that. It's a horrible space to be in, where other people's actions have direct impact on how you're going to look at your day or your entire life for that matter. If you don't like that thought, then please try the 3-step Graphojournaling method. You'll be surprised at the speed at which it will start creating the change required. Okay, you can know more about my work on my website aditisurana.com. If you want to get that S stroke, that flow of thoughts, beautiful stroke corrected, then you can tag my Instagram handle at Aditi Surana and my team will give you feedback on this. The whole attempt of doing these initiatives, talking to people about anxiety, is it is okay to have emotions that get to us. But it is not okay for letting these emotions paralyze us completely. And it is not only our attempt to tell you that, oh, learn this stroke, learn this method. It's moreover, it's a movement for us or my entire team and the community that we belong to, where we make sure that you become the wellness warrior. You become an inspiration for your family members, for people around you to really look at their own emotions. But you can't do that when you're stressed and you're worked up. You can do that only by inviting people to try something new, because when they look at you, they get fascinated by how this person is calm under all this tension and pressure and constantly looking at a solution instead of getting, involved and completely bogged down by the problem. How do you do it? You take charge of your emotions, of your thoughts by trying this Graphojournaling method. Tell me how you like it. You can reach out to me on my email ID, write@aditisurana.com. I look forward to hearing from you.